Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we are going to be talking about some news that recently came out from FlyQuest, but it's more specifically, this video is going to be about Aphromoo as we dive into things a little bit further. I got a comment the other day, somebody being like, hey, Aphromoo is like one of my favorite players. Can you talk about him? Haven't really heard what's going on with him. What the heck? And so I want to make this video for that reason. I was planning on talking about this anyway, but hey, you guys ask and you shall receive. So this was a couple of days ago, December 8th, FlyQuest tweet out, "It's never easy saying goodbye, but we know you will all rise to new heights. Thank you, Aphromoo, Johnson, Takoi, Jose Dioto, and Tomo for all the memories. We are proud of our journey together. Always remember to showcase greatness in your next chapters." And this is, just a really big sign of the changing of the guard that's going on at FlyQuest right now. Obviously, during this last season, Trisha, their longtime CEO or, longtime face of the brand and all that stuff, she left and went to C9. Then the team got a new CEO and new kind of, direction, face, all that stuff, new head. And then in this most recent offseason, FlyQuest actually sold to a new ownership group. And now, I believe just yesterday or the day before, they are now on a new CEO. So they have a new ownership group, a second new CEO, but a third total CEO in the past year, a new general manager in Papa Smithy. The times they are changing, which is kind of crazy because FlyQuest was a pretty solid, pretty decent team last year. They're pretty well liked. They have good brand initiatives. They do all this stuff. But again, were they the best org in the LCS by any means? No. Were they the most profitable or like revenue generating? No. So we'll see how this new era of FlyQuest goes. But man, I don't think many people saw a lot of this coming. Where Takoi was like one of the better mid laners in the league last year. Now he's out of the league altogether. I think he's back in the ERLs. Jose Dioto, I believe he's playing in like LLA. Johnson, we haven't really heard anything about him. Tomo, we don't know what's going on with him. But the big question is Aphromoo. This guy's been around, I believe, in every single LCS split or something like that. He's been in pretty much every single LCS split. And yeah, he hasn't been like a superstar recently. But I do think Aphromoo has been criminally underrated over the past couple years. He had that 1 year or one split or whatever with 100 Thieves where he was like pretty terrible. Like honestly, one of the worst supports or one of the worst players in the league. He was like kind of trolling on stage, but since then he's been really good and he's made all the AD carries he's played with better. And I think when the AD carries he's play with him, they look good, and they go play with other people, they look not so good. Like I think Aphromoo is a really good player, but unfortunately for him, we did, get some updates and other things. Aphromoo not playing next split. Aphromoo was removed from the global contract database on December 1st. Of course, here he's getting released by FlyQuest. It seems like all the LCS team rosters have basically been finalized. So LCS Spring 2023 would be the first LCS split without Aphromoo playing. I remember him saying that he would keep playing as long as he could, but it looks like no one picked him up for the next season. Hopefully he gets on an academy team to help bring up new talent. So again, we still haven't heard yet from Aphromoo about any, he hasn't really tweeted anything. So we haven't really heard anything from him as far as if he has any academy offers, if he's going to be streaming, making content, if he's going to be coaching, who knows. But I do think this is really crazy that, yeah, he's not on a team. He's gone from FlyQuest, and we haven't really heard anything new from him. And we start looking at all the LCS rosters, we can see pretty much all 50 players are confirmed at this point. So the other sports in the league are going to be Busio, who is an up and coming, hyped up prospect. No, I don't really have a problem with that. Who's been, he wasn't that great last year, but he's competed in 3 out of the last 3 LCS finals with 100D. We have Vulcan, Chime, Fleshy. Obviously, I don't really know much about him. From what I've heard, he's not all that great. Aphromoo, better than him, should be in the LCS over him, but hey, whatever, just one player. Ignar, I would also much rather have Aphromoo over Ignar, especially with some of the things I've heard about Ignar as of late. We have Poom, another young prospect, Sven, who Berserker wants to play with specifically, Core JJ, and Ayla. So it really does seem that Aphromoo should be in the LCS over Fleshy and over Ignar, at least in my opinion, and I'm sure in the opinion of most other people out there, but obviously the IMT and Dignitas general managers or CEOs or whatever must disagree, or maybe Aphromoo didn't want to go play for that. Who knows the reasons or whatever the heck is going on. Kind of random, kind of weird that those two players are in the LCS over him. But yeah, it does seem like for the first split in quite some time or ever, we're not going to be seeing Aphromoo in the LCS, which I think is a shame. It's a couple issues. Like one, yes, some people will be like, yeah, these washed, veteran, older players, whatever, we need to recycle them out. We need to get new talent in. But also at the same time, players who are still playing at least a decent enough level, there should still be a spot for them. It's just the fact that in the LCS and LEC right now, we only have 10 slots. And, if we had more slots, spots. We could have more veterans and young players and everything going on. You know, you see like in professional sports leagues, there's like 30 teams or 35 or 20 teams or whatever, and you get a bunch of young, exciting prospects, and you get everyone's favorite veteran players, you know, before they're way too old and washed up, still getting to finish out their career. And this just feels like Aphramoo's career getting cut short a little bit too soon, especially if it's before he wants, because I don't think he's like terrible. I don't think he's washed, and I do think he could be a good veteran presence for a lot of teams and for a lot of young players to learn from. But yeah, I don't know. This is kind of the latest on Aphromoo and everything we know so far. Maybe some things will change. Maybe he'll end up in academy, but I think it's much more likely we see him as like a coach or content creator or something like that in spring. Maybe we see him back in summer, but this could be the last we see of him at the end of the day. But pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you in the next one. Peace.